Hello everyone. As you are aware, I have been talking about three niche websites that I own so far. One that is making money and another two I launched in 2020. So I spent some time in the month of January to consolidate all the accountings with respect to expenses and revenues to see where I stand together, all together consolidated from the consolidated expenses revenue point of view. And from this month onwards, January onwards, actually I'm recording every expense, every revenue, so that it will be helpful in the future whenever I either want to sell it off, or if I want to take a financial view of the overall the portfolio at any point of time. So I thought that I will actually share all the details with you in this video. So if you have not watched my video about total expenses for revenue for my site one, which is the primary site that is earning revenue, please go and check it out. I created that video. I published it last week. You can just have a look at it. So this video, along with that, basically I added the other two sites as well. So this is the consolidated portfolio view basically. So let me get into the details. So this is the site one, the primary blog, which is earning money for me, about which I already also spoke in the other video. So you can see the cost items all together, content, hosting, and all together. The expenses were about 3,486. 3,486 US dollar. That's basically the total expenses so far in the sense till December 2020. So what I did is I also calculated the listed down all the cost items for site 2 and site 3. Site 2 that was launched in the month of April. Primarily the content, if you see about there are 50 articles are there, and 142k word count is there. I took about $5 per 1,000 words, which has been the costing for my content till last year, because I was heavily leveraging the interns and some writers from the Facebook group and all that. So primary head is about the content cost only. It comes at about $712 US, and then images, because this is heavily a buyer intent content for each of the blog, I consider only 2 images for each the blog. So altogether this is basically about 100 images and half dollar for each image. It is about $50. And then for the website design and management, I only consider about $25 per month, and I used a web designer for about 3 months, because why I consider $25 is I hired a web designer as basically intern for to work on both these sites, basically on the design. So $25 each, basically I was paying $50 per month just to publish the post and do some minor work only. It's not basically the full-time web designer kind of thing. So about for 3 months about $25, $75. And domain cost, I bought the domain for 2 years. It's a $12 per year. It's 24. And finally the hosting. For hosting, it has been about only 9 months hosting so far. So for 1 year, I accounted about $104 US, which is basically Siteground hosting. So these are all only the costs for involved in site 2. So altogether it is about $965.78. That's the total cost till December 2020 for site 2. And site 3, which was launched in the month of August, there are about 109 articles, and the word count is about 151,056. It's about 151k, and I took a average content cost for this about $6. The reason is I did a little bit of editing and rework in the of the content, because the quality was not great. So if you are not able to watch my video about the issues I faced because of the low quality of the content, please check it out. I created a video about what kind of problems I faced, especially related to this site. So that's why I added about that 20% additional cost to this content, considering that rework and all that. So considering the $6 per 1,000 words, its total cost comes at about $906 US for content alone. And then images, basically I consider about same 2 images per each of the blog. and 50 cents for each of the image. It comes at about 109 US dollars. And then same thing like again for web design also, as I just mentioned, there was one intern who worked on both these sites, about $25 for about 3 months of time. That's about it. Later there was no much of work anyway, about a $75 for that web design related part. And domain I purchased for a couple of years, 2 years, it's $24. That's about it. Only these two. Even hosting, I did not add any cost to this, because the same shared hosting that I purchased for site 2 was good enough to host both the sites, site 2 and site 3. So there is no additional cost for the hosting for site 3. So altogether, if I sum up all these costs, it is about $1,114 US dollar. This is the total cost for site 3. Now let me show you the revenues, how it is till December 2020. So these, for site 1 revenues, you would have already seen my other video. Primarily AdSense 218 and EZOIC revenue was about 2000, and Amazon was US, UK, Canada contributed something. So altogether the site 1 earned about a 4,376 US dollars. Now coming to site 2, I haven't enabled either AdSense or EZOIC on it yet, because the traffic is not so great. Still about only I'm getting daily about 10 to 20 visitors. So not good enough yet to enable any kind of an AdSense. The only monetization now I have done is only the Amazon US. So last year it earned about a $35.41, and that too primarily in the last quarter, September, October, now September, I think September, November, December. October I didn't have any revenue. So that's what it is. Very, very minimal, but at least it started earning something. So altogether, if you can see, this is the only revenue that it earned, and so altogether it is only $35.41. For site 3, no revenue so far, neither AdSense nor the affiliate commission also so far. It's completely zero. You can see here total revenue is zero. So that's the total revenue for all 3 sites. Now let me take you to the balance sheet for entire portfolio. This is where it stands. So individually I did for the site 1, you would have seen earlier itself in the last video. Revenues were 4,376 US dollars, whereas the expenses were 3,486, and net to net it was already into the profit. The first site 1 is already into the profit, 890 US dollars. Then site 2, individually the cost is about a 965, which I just you can see it here, right? Same cost, 965 is the total expenses, and the revenue is only 34.41, which I have just now shown you. Where are the revenues? Here are the revenues. You can see 34.41. So that means net to net, the second site is now in the loss of about 930 US dollars. That's where it is. And third site, if we look at the expenses versus revenues, expenses is about 1,114 US dollars, which is same as I have shown here. That this is the amount you can see here, the same thing. And then the revenues are absolutely zero. So altogether net to net, basically it is about entire expenses are still into the losses. That means the total expenses, that 1,114 US dollars is loss only for this particular site. What I did is I did a consolidated view for entire portfolio. Now you can see here for all sites, all 3 sites, all sites basically till December end, what is the expense, what is the revenue. Total number of articles are 307, and total word count is about a 587,361, about a 587K word count. And when I added listed down all the cost items, the content cost is about a 3,000 US dollars, then images 380, web design about 750 US dollars, domain cost about 96, then hosting is about 416, and then Azure Press, the plugin that I purchased as for the lifetime license. This cost I accounted only for the one blog, but not for the other one. You can see here for Azure Press, the only the cost is onto the site 1, because this one-time license fee. I need not to pay for every site. So that's what for Azure Press. And then Genius Links is mainly I use for localization, again only for blog site 1 for now. Site 2 and site 3 doesn't doesn't need any of those expenses as of now. And then keyword analysis also, it's basically altogether I spend about a $10 per month kind of thing. Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. That's an average. That's about it. And then EZOIC premium cost is also only for the site one as of now, because on other two sites I haven't enabled any of the AdSense yet. So then coming to the revenues, primarily entire revenues mainly from the site one. Only in Amazon US there is a $35. Additionally, whatever you have seen here, right, $35.41 that got added into the Amazon US alone, only this particular revenues. Otherwise, remaining all the revenues are primarily from site one. So now let's look at the total revenues, total expenses. If you see the total expenses till today, it is $5,566 and whereas total revenues is about $4,412. When I look at the net to net, it is all overall consolidated. It is losses basically. So if I deduct the expenses, revenues from the expenses, it is net to net $1,154 and 37 cents is the net loss as of today. If I consider all the expenses, revenues I spent across all my sites. Now you can see one more head here, miscellaneous expenses is $100. So we need to add to this. So let me add to this, basically this plus minus 100. So let me see. It comes about, this is the total number. The reason why I added this particular $100 here is about 4 or 5 months back when I was launching this site 2, site 3, I also just launched one site related to garden, but I did not publish much of content and all. The reason was I liked the domain name. I just wanted to be their site there live in Google, so that in 6 months of time it comes out of the sandbox. So after 6 to 9 months, if I decide to go and publish content in garden niche, then I wanted to use that domain. So I still have not made up my mind. I may work on it, I may not work on it, but at least for next 6 months I'm not going to work on it. After 6 months, if I still feel it has a potential and worthwhile to try, I may use that particular domain. Otherwise I will leave it. So as of now, I just launched it for the sake of launching, just so that domain will get some aging and also will come out of sandbox. For that, at that time, one time cost I spent about $100 because I published just about 10 articles or so, and then a domain cost, that's about it. So that $100 also, when I add into the overall cost expenses, it's about $1,254 of negative, basically the loss so far for entire portfolio. That's where it stands. So what I'm going to do is now month on month, I'm going to basically look at the revenues versus the expenses and see how soon basically that can turn into positive. Very soon it's going to be, I'm hopeful. However, I am heavily reinvesting most of the money that I'm earning nowadays for the next upcoming blocks. The entire January, almost entire amount has gone into the investment. I will anyway create a video about my January income report, and then there I will talk about those details. So this is what it is, where the entire portfolio stands with respect to the financial view. So this is really helpful, though it took a lot of time for me and to compile all these details in the month of January. I felt like this is the best thing that I did to start the new year. I would suggest, I strongly recommend, if you are starting a new site now, or if you are already in midst of your journey, please spend some time to sort out the accounting and financial related things, because this will be really helpful. Once it goes big, and it will be very difficult for you to remember, recollect and all that. So tomorrow, even when you want to sell your blog site also, you need all these details basically to go and share with basically the third-party agents and all that. So very helpful. Now I'm very happy now that I got a hold of entire accounting of my portfolio. And January onwards, I am very much recording every penny of spend, as well as basically every dollar revenue that I am earning. Going to be very clean, very easy to maintain, and also at any point of time I will be able to take a stock of how the financial view of the entire my portfolio. So this is the base, and this is where I stand as of now. So if you have any questions, please do ask. I'll be more than happy to answer. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for your time. Bye.